right, let me introduce our speaker, a longtime member, former member of our church. Joel Weiss is the clinical manager of Compassionate Care Medical Clinic, which opened in Corpus Christi in January of 2024. As clinic manager, he's responsible for all the non-medical clinic needs, including electronic medical records and the hardware needed to support it. He comes to this position after decades in technology management positions. Please welcome Joel Weiss. Yeah. The crowd's roaring. Yeah. All right.
Thank you all. Okay, let me get my bearings here. Let me see if I have a Compassionate Care Clinic is a private clinic that's free to the public. It's supported by, as I'll talk about in a few minutes, some generous donations by members of the community, and it charges nothing for its services. And there's quite a need, as we have learned in this year. Let's see. Maybe I don't have this thing turned on yet.
Speak sweetly to it.
Yeah, right. If I'm nice to it, it'll... There we go. Okay. So our mission statement is to serve the community, to serve the underserved portion of our community. And what we mean by the underserved portion of the community is that some 20% or more of the folks in Corpus Christi do not have health insurance. Now, that's an easy to make, that's a statement that most of us think of in terms of dollars and cents. You know, I don't have the money to pay for insurance, I don't get it through my employer. But the consequences of that many people not having insurance are very severe. Okay, I'm going to step back. Well, it's hard for me to read back there, but all right, I'm going to step over here if you don't mind. The consequences of not having insurance are multiple. For the primary, you know, one key thing that happens when you don't have insurance, unless you have to. That microphone would be great.
Yes, run to the rescue. Rescue ready.
Make sure you hold it right up to your mouth.
Yeah. Okay, is that better? Yes. All right. So the consequences of not having, yeah, I see where I'm standing. Thank you.
On the precipice.
But if you don't have insurance, you don't go to the doctor. I mean, because it's too costly. And that may seem obvious, but the bottom line is that means all sorts of things happen that aren't good for you. So you delay care. Okay, so why doesn't this do? Okay. Do I have to point this? Hello?
Yeah.
It's not doing anything. Oh, whoa. Someone said it was. Okay, let's go back. All right, I'm just going to leave it up. I don't want to tempt fate any longer here. Okay, so you know, if you delay care, then when you finally do get care, the outcomes are often worse than they normally would be, than they would be if you were a typical middle-class person who goes to the doctor on a regular basis. You also have a reduced, service that you get if you don't go to the doctor. Then you don't take advantage of immunizations or lab, doing routine lab work and testing your body before it gets sick. And most of us who are raised in a the community that we are dealing with, they largely rely on emergency rooms. That's how they get their medical care. And the result is higher mortality rates. And I'm not being judgmental here. This is just simply the fact of life. The patients that we treat in our clinic are most of them are good, hardworking people. But they're not brought up in a culture in this country because they don't have insurance, because they can't afford it. They're not brought up in a culture to routinely check on their bodies to see how they're doing. So what happens is the patients we get, my wife sends her apologies. She's sick as a dog this morning and was better off at home than here. But she's the assistant nursing director. The patients that we see are significantly sicker than the patients you would get in a typical, suburban doctor's office. So the bottom line is none of this is good. None of this is good, and we're trying, you know, we ourselves cannot fix the problem. All we can do is try to help people. Okay, so our vision is to basically offer healthcare, mental health services, and educational resources to adults in our community free of charge. We don't ask anything of you other than whether or not you have insurance. We don't ask for, check immigration status or anything else. We just simply serve the community who come. And our core values are dignity and equity and having an impact on the community and getting our community involved. Okay, so as I've said before, the primary medical, we're trying to be provide primary medical care to the community and engage volunteers and get them involved. Now that's a key thing. I mean, there aren't a lot of you here today, but to the extent that you can spread word about about our activities, you could help us. We are limited in our ability to give care, and you'll see we've given quite a bit of it, by the literally by the number of volunteers we have working at the clinic. The clinic is, I'll come to where we located and all that in a minute. The clinic is open 4 days a week, and we're staffed, other than I think we're up to a great high of 6 paid staffers now, and everybody else is a volunteer. And those volunteers are the core of our clinic, and we'll take anybody as a volunteer. You don't need a medical training. We have a lot of volunteers to answer the phone, that sort of thing. Just greet people at the front desk and get them scheduled for an appointment. All that kind of stuff is valuable to us. So to the extent that you have friends and neighbors who might want to serve, we would really greatly appreciate that. Okay, we formed with the healthcare system in Corpus Christi. We're getting tremendous support from Krista Spahn. They've helped facilitate our facility, and once a week, Krista Spahn provides us, believe it or not, phlebotomists at our site who basically do free labs for all of our people, all of them who've been in the last week and whose doctors say they need lab tests done. On Wednesday mornings, people line up and we go through 40 to 50 folks getting lab tests. Thousands and thousands of dollars worth of free support from Krista Spahn, and we really greatly appreciate that. Okay, I'm going to skip through this a little bit here. Okay, so we opened our doors on the 22nd of January, and of last year, a year ago. Our principal funding is coming through a major foundation here in Corpus Christi that prefers to stay out of the spotlight. But that's what gives us the baseline. And then we've been supported since then by some entities such as Methodist Health Ministries and a few other foundations in the area. So we're actually feeling quite good about our ability to continue to do this. And we are a 501c3 and all the things that go with that, so people can make donations to us, which is always nice. The physical location, for those of you who are old timers in this community, we're at 6 Points in what some of you will call the old WellMed building. And if that doesn't ring a bell, you tell people we're across Ayers from Hester's, and everybody knows where that is. So the bottom line is it's an easy to get to location. It's on bus routes, and it's great for our patients. The building is a 26,000 square foot building. We're currently, as our clinic operates out of about just a little over half of the first floor. But the other half of first floor is occupied by Texas A&M Health Sciences, and they provide invaluable service to us. They work as collaterally with us. They provide diabetes education, healthy eating habit classes, healthy cooking classes. Again, part of the idea that if you haven't been brought up with the understanding that staying well is a continuing activity, then you don't have all those other habits. You know, it's hard for us to treat a diabetic and send them home and unfortunately let them eat the common diet of beans and rice and what else, simply because they don't understand. And it's this way we can have, we refer a lot of our patients to the services provided by A&M. The other thing that's alluded to in the last bullet there is we've been lucky enough to get another foundation in town to have us, to assist us in starting a free mental health clinic on the second floor of our building starting around midsummer. And this is going to be a facility staffed by a psychiatrist and 2 specially trained nurse practitioners. And this is going to be very unique in the world of free health clinics in the entire United States, having both regular medicine services and mental health services. So we're really excited about that. Okay, so now this thing's going to start. There we go. I mentioned the funding. Okay, there we go. Okay, so our board, Texas Medical Bureau, the Texas Medical Board rules that our board of directors has to be made up of physicians who actively see patients in the community. That's a requirement. And we have several physicians who are on our board, and we have an advisory board that provides further guidance. For some of you who are old timers in this town, some of these names may ring a bell. These are our principal primary care doctors. Some are geriatric like me, and some are a bit younger, but it's a good group. And these are the folks who are at the clinic, not all of them on any given day, but typically a mix of 3 or 4 of them every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday from 8 to 2-ish, and Thursdays, for those who can't take off from work, we're open from noon to 8 p.m. And so these are the guys who I see every day and interact with, and they usually come to me with, Joel, my computer doesn't work. You know, that's my part of the business. But we also are very proud of the fact that we have in-house specialty care. Some of those names over there may also be familiar to some of you long-term folks in town. And these are our specialist doctors who come typically once a week or once every 2 weeks and provide, give us the ability to actually, it's very unusual for a free clinic like ours to have an on-site cardiologist. We've also got an EKG, a state-of-the-art EKG machine and an echocardio machine. So we can do an awful lot in our own house, and when necessary, we refer people outside to other doctors in the community. There is a network. Not all of it's free, but a lot of it's we do a lot of begging, to get free services from some of the other specialists in town. This group of physicians have donated over 2,700 hours of time since we began, for the calendar year in January to December. It turns out if you look at all of the volunteers we have, RNs like my wife and doctors and just folks who like to man the desks, volunteers have contributed over $400,000 worth of volunteer service to our clinic in the 1 year. That's an amazing number, and shows you the commitment of people in this community to helping others. So, there's the nurses in Malone have accumulated over 3,000 hours of volunteer time, and all told, the administrative volunteers are committed over almost 2,400 hours of service. So I do the books for keeping tabs on our volunteers, and when you're trying to justify to a funding agency, a foundation, why should we give you money? What are you doing with our money? You say, well, we can match your money by $400,000 worth of volunteer service, and that makes a big difference. And between that and what we get from Krista Spahn, you know, those are the underpinnings of a very successful entity. We also have a social worker who works part-time for us now. And again, a lot of the folks in the community who don't have health care have other issues. And so we do try to screen our patients modestly, just to, you know, do you have food on the table? Do you worry about having food on the table or heat in the house? And we linkage through you know, a network of social service folks here in town. We try to direct our patients who need help to others. And if, you know, we can steer people to the food bank and places like that. Okay, so we began seeing patients on 22 24, and as of the other day, we actually I have over 1,900 patients enrolled in my electronic medical record system. And we're very proud of the fact that whereas most doctors' offices had to convert to electronic medical and have stored, you know, paper files, I made the decree that if I was in charge, there was going to be no paper. And so basically, patients fill out a very simple, you know, 1.5-page form. When they first register, that information gets entered into the database. The form itself is scanned and stored and then shredded. We literally have no filing cabinets, and I'm very proud of that. We have that many people, and we have not a piece of paper, you know, to show for it. We've had over 4,000 appointments that have been made and kept, and over 1,700 patients have had their labs drawn by Christus, all in this first year. It's quite an operation. We refer people to other services as needed. Ecumenical counseling is a mental health service that's basically psychologists. They will work with our new psychiatric service and provide a more robust capability. And we also work closely with the Wesley Nurse Program that's run by Methodist Health Ministries. In conclusion, it's been a good year. It's been a good year, and we're very proud of what we've been able to do, and we're hoping to help that many more people. And like I said, our capabilities are limited by only the volunteers we have. Right now, money isn't our issue. Money, you know, it's people. So anybody who wants to help is welcome to, you know, knock on our door, or give us a call, and let us know. That's all I got, Jane.
This mic is off, and now it's on. Thank you, Joel Weiss.